guys, it's Ms. Humphrey back with another math video. Today we're going to be talking about conversions of time, which I'm really excited about because it does relate to what we're talking about in science, and it's also the thing that I think you're going to be most familiar with in this unit. So let's go ahead and get started talking about conversions of units of time. So we have some rules that I would like to establish. These are the notes. This slide are the notes that you're going to put into your notebook. So, to convert hours to minutes, 1 hour contains 60 minutes. So you are going to multiply the number of hours by the number 60. To convert weeks to days, 1 week is 7 days. So you multiply the number of weeks by 7, because if I have 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, each of those weeks is going to be 7 days. So I'm going to take the number of weeks, 3, and multiply it by 7. Converting minutes to seconds, 1 minute has 60 seconds. So I'm going to take the number of minutes I'm talking about and multiply it by 60. And then days to hours, we talked about this in science. 1 day here on Earth is 24 hours. So you will multiply the number of days you're talking about by the number 24. So let's start with these tables. We said 1 week is 7 days. So what would that make 3 weeks? Remember, we said the rule was to go from weeks to days, we multiply the weeks by 7. So this is 3 weeks. So I'm going to multiply 3 times 7, and I'm using my calculator over here. It's 21. So I'm going to bring up 21. Then again, my rule is multiply the number of weeks by 7 to find out how many days are in that many weeks. So if I have 6 weeks, I'm going to multiply 6 times 7, which gets me 42. And this is math that we can do on paper also, if you don't have a calculator. And I'm not expecting that you should be using a calculator. I just have one pulled up because it's easier for me to demonstrate it to you, since I can't really show you me writing it right now. And then here's the last one. If I have 15 weeks, what am I going to multiply it by to find out how many days are in 15 weeks? Yeah, I'm going to multiply it by 7. So I have 105. Let's do the same thing with days. How many hours are in 1 day? 24. So I'm going to multiply the number of days times 24. Well, 1 times 24 is just going to be 24. I'm going to use my calculator, and I'm going to do 2 times 24 because I have 2 days and each of those days has 24 hours. So 2 days is equivalent to 48 hours. And then I'm going to do 4 times 24, and 4 days is equivalent to 96 hours. And then 8 times 24, if I had 8 days, in 8 days I would have 192 hours. Oops, that one didn't drag very well, but we understand. Let's go from hours to minutes. In 1 hour, we have 60 minutes. So I'm going to do 1 times 60, which is 60. So I'm going to drag up the 60. Then I'm going to do, it wants to know for 3 hours, there are 60 minutes in each of those hours. So 3 times 60 is 180. Then it wants to know for 5 hours, 5 times 60 is 300. So there are 300 minutes in 5 hours. And then 7 times 60, in 7 hours, there's 420 minutes. And the same goes from going to minutes to seconds, because it's crazy. 1 minute has 60 seconds. So 1 times 60 is 60. 2 times 60 is 120. I know that because I did 2 times 6 and I did my zeros trick. Let's try 6 times 60 is 360. And that leaves us with, in 10 minutes, there are 600 seconds. So let's try it here. Converting units of time. In 14 hours, there's how many minutes? Well, in 1 hour, there are 60 minutes. So I'm going to multiply the number of hours, 14, times the number of minutes, which is 60, and I get 840. So in this box, I would type 840. In 38 weeks, there's how many days? Well, I know 1 week is 7 days, so I'm going to multiply 38 times 7, and there would be 266 days. I'm going to do one more. In 55 minutes, how many seconds would there be? Well, I know 1 minute is 60 seconds, so I'm going to multiply the 55 minutes times 60 seconds, and it tells me that there are 3,300 seconds in 55 minutes. Okay? Actually, I am going to do one more because I want to do a day to hour. So in 6 days, how many hours would it be? 1 day is 24 hours. So I'm going to do 6 days times each day is 24 hours. And that tells me there's 144 hours in 6 days. Last slide that we're going to do, converting units of times using this story problem. So we have Tim's activities today. He's at school for 7 hours. He's at piano practice for 47 minutes. And he does homework for 2 hours. Now, if I'm going to compare all of those, I need them to be the same unit length. So I'm going to turn them all into the smallest unit. What's smaller, hours or minutes? Minutes. So I'm going to find the amount of minutes he does each of those things. So he's at school for 7 hours, and each hour has 60 minutes. So I'm going to do 7 times 60. That means he's at school for 420 minutes. He has piano for 47 minutes, and then he has homework 2 hours times 60 for 120 minutes. How many more minutes did Tim spend in school than on doing homework? So let's get those numbers again. 7 times 60 is 420, and we know that he did homework for 120. So to find the difference, I'm going to subtract. And that tells me he spent 300 more minutes at school because he had 420 minutes at school and only 120 minutes at homework. So again, I did 420, which is how long he was at school, and I subtracted the amount of minutes he did homework, and that means he spent 300 more minutes at school. How many fewer minutes did Tim spend practicing piano than doing homework? So for homework, remember 2 hours times 60, he spent 120 minutes doing homework and 47 minutes doing piano. So I'm going to subtract 47, and that means he spent 73 fewer minutes. Tim goes to school 5 days a week. How many minutes does he spend at school each week? So we remember each day is 7 hours times 60, so each day is 420 minutes. Then he goes 5 days, so 420, 420, 420, 420, 420. So I'm going to multiply it by 5 because that's how many days. And I get 2,100 minutes per week. How many seconds does he spend practicing piano today? So he practiced piano for 47 minutes. There are 60 seconds per minute. So I'm going to do 47 minutes times 60, and that tells me he practiced piano for 2,820 minutes. I'm going to give you guys some additional practice on IXL as well as a Google form for you to fill out, and I can't wait to see what you guys are able to do. Have a good day, guys.